Daf Perima Amud Aleph, last line. Amar Resh Lakish says regarding workers. Poel Bichnisato, when a worker is on the way into the city, and he goes home, Mishelah, he has to leave. It comes from his own time, meaning he has to leave when the day's over at sunset. Bisiato, when he's going to work, Mishel Balabaita goes by the employer. He has to leave by sunrise. Shneimar Pasuk says, Tizrach Hashemesh Yasefun Ve'amin Otam Mirbasun. Yet the person goes to his work, he stays till evening. He's okay. Why need a pasuk? Just everybody do what the minhag of the place is. Mar says be'er hadasha in the place. Okay, so let's see where the majority of people are and do from that minhag. Mar says ben kuta, different collection of people, and therefore there's no single custom. I'm hiring you like the pasuk of the Torah speaks about workers, which is the full day, morning till night. Okay. Tarasha Bizera says, Ba'amila of Tenever says, some Reb say, what does the Pasuk mean? Tashat Hoshech, Behila, Botir, Mos, Kol Hayete We make darkness and night in every forest, beasts, there's wild beasts. Tashat Hoshech, Behila, that means, that's referring to this world, which is nighttime. Botir, Mos, Kol Hayete this is referring to the wicked people, the Rashaim in this world who are considered like beasts in the forest. Sun shines, they're gathered in. This is referring to the sun shining for tzaddikim. Yes, the they'll be gathered. The Gehinam will gather in the Rashaim. And they'll be hidden in their dens. Every single tzaddik person will have a beautiful residence fitting his deeds. Let's say Adam, the Pablo person goes forth to work, which means the tzaddikim will go receive their reward. Work till nighttime. If he has completed his service to Hashem till his death. Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Shimon found a certain Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, by the way, the son of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. They were both in the cave for 12 years, 13 years. This is the same one. So he found a certain guy. His job was the Katafis Ganave. He had to hire, he was hired, this guy was hired to arrest thieves. He says to him, how do you manage to do it? Are they not considered like beasts, as the Pasuk says, Pasuk used, another Pasuk referring to thieves and bad people as animals. So he's like, how do you get them? Where it says, maybe you're arresting people at random. Maybe you're arresting innocent and leaving the guilty behind. Amarle says, what can I do? The king's order is to arrest people. Amar, he says, I'll teach you what to do. Go in the 4th hour of the day by breakfast time into the diner. See who's drinking wine. And he's holding his cup while he's dozing off. Surely I talk about it. Maybe he's a young rabbi and he's sleeping. He must have woken up early to learn Torah. Ipo Elu be the worker. He must have been doing his work early. Maybe even worked at nighttime. And maybe he was doing quiet work so nobody even knows he was working. But if it's not any of these things, he must be he's a thief or stealing stuff overnight. You should arrest him. The king heard of this Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon's advice, and he says, Amru, he tells him, Parvanka. The one who read the letter should do it. Meaning, if you like your advice, do it yourself. He made him into the Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon. He made him the one in charge of arresting thieves. He said about him, you're the vinegar, the son of wine. Meaning you're a tzaddik, the son of you're Rashat, the tzaddik of the son of a tzaddik, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Elazar ben Shimon, he's calling Rabbi Elazar the Rashat, the son of the tzaddik Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. How long will you keep on handing over thieves to the God to get killed? The people of God to kill. He answered him, I'm getting rid of the thorns in the vineyard. I'm getting rid of the bad people. He says, don't help God. God will remove them himself. But he's still doing it. One day, the laundry man one time found him. He also called him vinegar, the son of wine, calling him a Rasha. Now, what does that show you? We'll see that he's going to get insulted. But when the rabbi did it to him, he didn't take it personally because it was his peer. But over here, it's this random guy calling him it. Amar said to himself, since this guy is such a big chutzpah, maybe he's a rasha. Amar le, he told his workers, Tifsilu, arrest him. Tifsilu, they arrested him. Once he was at ease, he tried to find him. He tried to get him out of the execution. He wasn't able to. And he said a pasuk about this man. He who watches his mouth will watch his soul. And sure enough, Zekafuhu, they hung the guy to death. Now, come to the Zekifa Vekabachi, who stood on Rabbi Zabar and Shmuel was nervous. He started crying by the gallows. He said, Amrullah told him, don't be worried. Don't be worried about this guy. He and his son had relations with a Na'ara Merosa, a woman who is an Erusin, which is Chayab Mitah. If she had adultery, he and his son both had with this lady on Yom Kippur. Don't worry that he died. It's okay. And he, Rabbi Elazar, in relief, put his hand in his stomach and he said, Amar Sisu, Sisu, my insides rejoice. He's like trying to calm his anxiety about what happened. He's like, this is what happens when I wasn't sure. So, so for sure, when I'm certain, the people who I usually arrest, I also I must be confident that no maggot or worm will ever bite his inside, his body, when he dies. Still, he was still nervous that he did something wrong. He's worried that his body was going to get decomposed when he dies. So what did they do? They gave him like anesthesia. They brought him to a marble room. They opened his stomach. They removed from him the baskets of fat. And they put these fats in the sun during Tammuz and Av to see if they would get worms. It didn't rot. The Gemara says, 1 second. Fats in general don't rot. Where it says, true, fats don't rot. However, if there's membranes and veins inside, it will. Over here, his fat in the sun, even though there was these things present, it didn't rot still, to prove to himself that he was innocent. Therefore, he talked about himself, my flesh will rest. He's not going to be wormy when he dies. Rabbi Ishmael, the son of Rabbi, one time came with a similar guy. A guy hired him, a king hired someone to be the arrester. Found him and said, until when are you handing over God's people to die? He says back to him, what should I do? It's the king's order to do it. What should I do? He says to him, your father ran to Asya. You should run to Lutkia. So now we're going to start talking about Rabbi Elazar and Shimon and Rabbi Shmuel and Rabbi Shmuel, sorry. They were both very heavy. Together, and their stomachs were touching. Animals could pass underneath them, but they wouldn't even touch them. That's how big they were. Now, because they were very big, a woman told them, your children aren't yours. You're both so big, you wouldn't be able to be with your wives. Therefore, your wives must have adultery. They answered him, their stomachs are bigger than ours. It's a proof that it's our children. And she says, no, I still stand by what I said. Your children, not yours. Some people say that they answered her that just as big as the guy is, so too is his power, which is referring to his male organ, that because they're bigger, they had a bigger male organ, therefore they're able to still be with their wives. Or there are some people that said that love drives them back, which means that their wives loved them so much and they enjoyed being together, they always came back to them and they wouldn't have adultery. Now, the obvious question is, but why are they answering this lady? What do they have to prove? Don't answer a fool. Where it says, the reason why they answered it because they didn't want to have rumors about their children. Okay. PSA. Pay attention. The son of Yossi's male organ, was the size of a 9-kav bottle. Mara Papa, Rabbi Yochanan's organ, was the size of a 5-kav bottle. Some people say was 3. The Papa himself, was the size of a harpina basket. So first of all, Why is it being mentioned? Also to show that even though these rabbis are very big, heavy, they had bigger organs, therefore there shouldn't be people thinking that their children were not theirs. There shouldn't be rumors. Second reason they bring is that it wasn't necessarily about the size. It was more about their desire. They had such a big yetzer to have znut, and they still held themselves back. That's what it means. This was measuring their desire for znut, and they were able to control themselves. Okay. I am the last person who was beautiful of Yerushalayim. How beautiful was he? Whoever wanted to see the beautiful beauty of Rabbi Yochanan, bring a fresh silver cup from the smith, the silversmith, and fill it with seeds of red pomegranate, and then put its rim with red roses, and put it between the sun and the shade. That reflection of the shades through the on the ground from the sun. That's the radiance of Yochanan. That's so. But more and more, Rabbi said, Shufred de Kahana, the beauty of Rav Kahana, Me'en Shufred de Biavao was similar to Rabbi Biavao. Shufred de Biavao, the beauty of Rabbi Biavao, Me'en Shufred de Yaakov was similar to the beauty of Rabbi Yaakov, and Shufred de Yaakov, the beauty of Rabbi Yaakov, Me'en Shufred de Avam Rishon was like Avam Rishon. Rabbi Yochanan lo kahashivle, but Rabbi Yochanan was not mentioned at all. Where it says Shani Rabbi Yochanan was different, the Hadra Panim lo havele, he never had a beard. Rabbi Yochanan have a aziv tiv ashera tivila. One time, Rabbi Yochanan used to sit by the mikveh for the ladies. Amar, and he said the reason why he was doing it, when women come to dip for mitzvah, to be with their husbands, if could be that they see me, they'll have children, they see me, they'll think about it, and then they'll have children like me with beauty and Torah. The rabbis told him, hold on a second. You're not scared of Ayin Hara? I'm from Yosef Atzadik. He had no Ayin Hara. The Pasuk says, Ben Porat Yosef Ayin, Ben Porat Yosef, Ben Porat Ele Ayin. Rabbi also says, Al Tikre Ele Ayin, Ele Ole Ayin, above the eye. Rabbi said, Barachanina Me'ach, a different Pasuk. B'yid Gula Rob Bekerev Ayaz, the Baracha of Yosef's children they'll be like fish. Madagim Shebayim, just like fish in the sea. Mayim Mechasimatim, water covers them, and therefore therefore there's no ayin hara. After the children of Yosef, and ayin shlotaben, to be no ayin hara. Yom Echad, one day he was so beautiful. One time Rabbi Yochanan was swimming in the Jordan River. Hazir Shakish, who was a robber back then, saw him. He jumped into the river after him, thinking that he could get this woman. But with Yochanan, Rabbi Yochanan sees him jump into this river and swim so mightily. He says, your strength should be for the Torah. And the reason why he thought it was a woman because he didn't have a beard, like we just said. Amarle, Rish Lakish told him, Shufrach l'nashe, your beauty should belong to women. Too beautiful. Amarle, he says, Ihadrat bach, if you do teshuvah, Yahavni lelach achoti, I'll let you marry my sister. The Shapira Minai is more beautiful than me. Habiyallah, and he accepted it. Baile meheder la'atura minei, wanted to get dressed again in Shakish after this embarrassing scenario. Vilamatzi, he wasn't able to, because when a person accepts himself the all show Torah, the yoke of Torah, he becomes weakened. Afterward, Rabbi Yochanan used to teach in the Torah, and Rabbi Yochanan taught him, and Reish Lakish became the Reish Lakish. Yom Echad, many years later, had the Miflagim and in the Mishnah, in the Gemara, in the Bet Midrash, sorry. Hasayah v'hasakin v'hapigyon, the sword, the knife, and the spear. V'haromach magal yad magal katzir, the spear, the military spear, the hand sword, sickle, and the harvesting sickle. When are they considered a fully furnished kli and therefore able to become tameh? When it says when they are put in the furnace. When you polish them, because they become shiny, that's when they're finished. Rabbi Yochanan tells him, the thief knows his tools. So it explains that Reish Lakish, Rabbi Yochanan, was actually not making an insult. It sounds insulting, like, oh yeah, you should know, you were a thief. He was actually saying, he's deferring to him. He's like, you know what, you're right. You have experience. Reish Lakish, however, took it as an insult. Amarle says, Reish Lakish answered him, according to the Eitz Yosef, he says, why are you bothering me? Why are you insulting me? However, he's trying to show him, I did teshuvah. Look, they call me rabbi, just like the thieves used to call me their boss. However, Rabbi Yochanan understood it as this is how crazy when people thinking they're being insulted, they'll imagine things. Rabbi Yochanan thought he was answering him. What did you do for me? I was the boss of the thieves. Now I'm a rabbi. They both call me rabbi. They'll both call me boss. Amar le, Rabbi Yochanan told you, I helped you. I brought you under the Shekhinah. Rabbi Yochanan was still insulted, but how Reish Lakish answered him. Reish Lakish, and Reish Lakish became sick because of Rabbi Yochanan got sad. Rabbi Yochanan's sister, Reish Lakish's wife, came to Rabbi Yochanan, and she was crying to ask her for Shema. Amar Allah, she said to him, I said, Bishil Bini, pray for my children, don't let them become Yatomim. Amar Allah, he told her, Azva Yatomecha Ali Achia, Hashem will be with the children. I said, make sure I don't become a widow. Amar Allah, he told her, let your widows trust in Hashem. Sure enough, Lakish passed away. Yochanan was unable to forgive him. He passed away. Yochanan grieves after him so much. Amar Rabbanan said, who shall we go make his new chavruta to calm him down? Let Padat go. He's very smart. He knows a lot of stuff. Went and learned with him. Every time Rabbi would say something, Amar Padat would say, I have a bright that says like you. Amar at Kvar Lakisha, you're supposed to be like Rish Lakish. Bar Lakisha, when Lakish, I used to say something, when I would say something, he would ask me 24 questions. I'd give him 24 answers. Because we're going back and forth, we'd be crystal clear on the sugya. And you're constantly telling me, I have a proof for you. I don't need that. I already know what I'm saying is good. Still in the morning with tears clothing, he would cry and say, where are you, Resh Lakish? Where are you, Resh Lakish? He would scream until he lost his mind. The rabbis prayed for mercy. He passed away because they knew there was no coming back from it. We'll stop here.